Vlad mentioned he built the web app for Optimism Fractal, and so I showed this briefly before, but this is the app where we will be submitting our consensus results. So right after I end my presentation, then we'll have a time when me, Rosemary, and Tadas, we could ask each other questions or comments about what we did. And we've all been working quite closely together, so maybe we won't have questions or comments, but normally this is a great time to network and just get to know people. And then we'll go into the Fractalgram app. So if we go back to the details section, Tadas did excellent work explaining what we're doing here in very precise terms and to make it clear. And we want to make it as simple as possible, but there are several different things that people should know if they really want to dig into the details and have questions. So Tadas did great work on crafting this kind of mission statement about Optimism Fractal is a community dedicated to fostering collaboration and awarding public goods creators and optimism. So I love that. We're also going with a kind of a motto / mission of growing optimism. And then you can see exactly how this works, where we meet for community meetings each week, and then we play this respect game. And then we make sure that the results are valid, and we talk about what respect is and how respect gets distributed. There's a lot more details that goes into the math and science about how this all works and why it's so helpful for empowering communities. But just want to show you a high-level overview of what we're doing, as well as some of Tadas's live contributions. And then you can also check out Fractalgram, which is the web app that we're going to be using to reach consensus too. So here's an app. Well, it works in Telegram, so that's why I picked up my Telegram. And then you can see an introductory post from Tadas. He introduces at Eden Fractal back almost a year ago now. So while that's loading, I also have an article here too at edencreators.com/Fractalgram that we're also going to put up on the Optimistic website too, so everything Optimism community can see it, but there's a little bit of overview about what is our Fractalgram. Basically, it's an intuitive Telegram web app that makes it easy for communities to play the respect game. And so basically we can play it in Telegram and then automatically pin the results into the OP Mainnet. And we have videos and tutorials about Fractalgram and much more here. And then Tadas also wrote this article, which has GIFs and makes it really simple for anybody to learn to play. I'll also explain too, because we kind of explained how it works with the respect game earlier, but maybe we didn't go into all the details. So I mentioned that people have to come to consensus to determine their different ranks of contributions in Optimism. Basically, I saw there, you pulled up Fractalgram, which is the Telegram app, and then you can pick different options to start the Fractalgram group. Of course, people don't need to deal with this. There just needs to be one person who knows how to do this in the group, or they can always write in the Zoom chat or anything like that, but this app just makes it much more intuitive and easy so that people who don't have any experience with Web3 or wallets or have very limited experience can use like a familiar app where they just vote in polls basically, and then can very quickly submit it to the OP Mainnet. So just a high-level overview, and then you have a button there in the bottom right corner where you can automatically pull up these messages, like to enter your Optimism account and then do other things. So I'll enter my Optimism account here. You see Rosemary responded there with hers, and so that'll allow Telegram to send it directly to the OP Mainnet. How that consensus works: 2/3 of the group need to agree to form a consensus, or perhaps if you'd like to go over that to Das, then feel free to introduce Fractalgram and the respect game however much more you'd like here.
Yeah, so basically Fractalgram is a alternative front-end for Telegram, which allows any participant which logs in to basically administer the consensus reaching in a breakout group in order to facilitate easier reaching of consensus through polls. It starts with creating this prompt. There is a shortcut to create a prompt like this. I created it again. Yeah, and people reply to it with their accounts. Currently, it has to be an Ethereum address, but in the future we are planning to integrate ENS names and so on, so that it's more readable and user and friendlier. You see the generated message has a link which participants click, and they are led to this front end, which already has all the information from the Fractalgram filled in. So here you have all of our addresses, yeah, and those addresses correspond to the results. We can check, for example, see my address starts with AED, and here you see AED, and then C11, C11, and then F6, and that's Vlad's address that I inputted. And here we plan to also integrate the Ethereum naming system here as well. So hopefully eventually you will mostly see ENS names if people have them. If people don't have, if we have them, we have plans for that. But in the future, you will see something human readable here. And yeah, and then we simply click submit. Now this is some additional protection. We don't always use this, but if you want to make sure that you have consensus, you can check with other people in the room if they are seeing the same series of numbers here. Dan, Rosemary, do you want to confirm in this case?
Yes, I see the same character sequence.
Okay,
great.
And I'll take your 2 word for it.
Okay. And so I then click push it on chain. And
By the way, I also do see the same sequence. I just opened it up.
yes, and you see transaction submitted. And
Is this, by the way, the first time that, because I know we've been testing this, I know you've tested a lot on the testnet, I believe the Girly testnet, or Gorley, but is this the first, this is the first OP mainnet transaction of the OP Fractal tools and the Optimus Fractal tools, right?
I did a couple of more, which it like technically according to our rules, like we don't represent, we don't mean anything. But I did a couple to just couldn't help myself to test.